A video because I promise you.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is your girl Toddrea, and welcome to another episode of The Sister, where I am the sister. And remember, here we are serving injured souls to encourage, rejuvenate, and strengthen your spiritual healing, one seed, one question, and one conversation at a time. Hey, check this out, guys. We have another wonderful episode for you guys today, and joining us is one of my big sisters, Tina. Tell everybody, hey.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Okay, so listen, this is going to be an interesting conversation today. So, those of you that have picked up a copy of our journal called The Dream Catcher, you see a little snippet in the front of the book where there is a dedication to my Sisima. And those of you that know me have heard me talk about my Sisima. And a lot of people, a lot of my friends that I actually grew up with that is not actually aware of who my mom is believe that she is my mother. However, she is one of my older sisters. So, without further ado, tell us how you became who I refer to so lovingly as my sister ma.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how did I come up with that name? But the only thing that I can recall is um, out of all of the siblings, you look to me as the one who you would allow to correct you. You look to me for to vent, to fuss, and I was the only one at the time, aside from your mother, who could punish you or you would accept punishment from. And I was always there, no matter what you did. I felt like I had to protect you, no matter what. And for some reason, you took that as me being your mother instead of your big sister, which is what big sisters do.
Okay, so now that you just made me sound like a tyrant to everybody that's listening,
You were.
eh, y'all, she did it. She went there, be your own people, but that's okay. So, at any point, did I ever feel like I was a burden to you?
You didn't until you got older. Because again, I felt like you were like one of my babies, even though I'm so many years older. We're not going to say how many. I still felt the need to protect you and be there as a big sister should. Yes, it was a lot because I had my own family, but I couldn't leave you out there. There were times when I just wanted to shut everything down, you, everybody else, but I knew that's not what the plan God had. As your big sister, I couldn't do that.
Okay, so because I often refer to you as Sisima, and you said that because you were one of the only ones actually that I allowed to correct me, how does that term of endearment make you feel, knowing that you're a baby sister? Because I'm the baby. So, how does that term of endearment make you feel as an older sister?
It's different, unexpected, of course, but I don't know where you got that term from. I'm still trying to figure that out. I take it as an honor um, because, again, it was my job to look after you. I wasn't going to let anything happen to you, even though you were a lot younger and had mom there. But I felt like even if she couldn't, and there are times you got frustrated with her, that somebody had to be there, and I'd rather it been me than a total stranger.
Okay, so from my point of view, let me tell you where the term actually came from. So the term actually came from um, Mark, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So there was one Mother's Day, and I think it was shortly after Courtney came along, and it was when I had gotten hurt at Fort Leonard Wood, and they sent me home, and uh, our parentals just irritated my last nerve to no end. And it was like, okay, somebody about to die, somebody about to go to jail, and it ain't about to be me. So I remember one of the parentals took the phone and I couldn't use the phone. And I was trying to call you to come get me and I couldn't find the phone. Like, anyway, who unplugs and wraps up the phone when you living with the children of the corn, right? So I got frustrated and I walked to the store, and you would have to understand where we lived at the time. So I got frustrated and I walked to the store and I went to the payphone and I was calling you, and Mark was teasing me because I was crying and I couldn't get the words out, and I was trying to say that I didn't have a phone and I was at the payphone. I was calling you to come get me. And he was like, your mama coming to the rescue, but she's supposed to be your sister. And then it just happened to be close to Mother's Day. And we went to the store to get you a Mother's Day gift. And I was like, but that's my sister. And he gave me and the girls money to get you a gift. And then he was like, girl, you better go and get this gift for your sister mama because you was the firstborn. We didn't have you, but you just somehow became my firstborn because that was at the point when I was staying with you guys. So that's actually where the term Sisima came from, because we couldn't make it make sense. And that's when the girls became my nieces, sister slash nieces.
See,
So
too much.
clearly, it actually started with Mark. So with that being said, um, now we thought you knew that. I honestly, all this time,
Oh,
I thought you knew that. So hearing that after all these years of how the term actually came about, what are your thoughts on that?
that's like him. He make up words, and so that's not unusual. And I can see how that came about because that was truly his nature, and making up words or mispronouncing words deliberately. So I can see that. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, so now that you told everybody on more than one occasion that I was a tyrant growing up, can you share a few of the prayers that you prayed over me and for me growing up?
I prayed that your attitude would change.
Oh,
I went there. Because I wasn't always around, so I could only, take what I was told, and I don't take things that people say and run with it. So even at that point, I just pretty much prayed that God fix it. Then when you got older, was getting married and in situations, I just pray that God cover you, keep your mind, keep your peace, because it's nothing more rewarding than have peace. And I saw that wasn't, happening for you, depending on what the situation was. The people that you needed to be in your corner were not, and so my prayer was just, Lord, give her peace, keep her safe, because we stayed in two different states. So I didn't always know what was going on, how it was going on, and you kept stuff so that I would know. But then when I found out, still talk to you, encouraged you. But my main thing was that God keep you safe from danger seen and unseen. As I pray for my family, and that's the main thing, was even with your children, that God teach you how to be a mother to them. Let them see that you're doing all that you can for them, even in tough situations. They don't always know what's going on because we as parents didn't always show that. But my prayer was that you be the mother, the wife, the sister, the daughter that God had called you to be, but at the same time having that peace. Because once that peace is disturbed, it's just like things just go crazy and you just don't know what to do. But keeping peace, and he put people in your path that could help and do what needed to be done when I couldn't be there.
okay. So seeing my life now compared to how I used to be, what are your thoughts?
Ooh, hallelujah. Oh, I'm sorry. I digress. Um, I know
Why, y'all?
that God answers prayers. One thing that I believe in, he may not come when you want him. People all say that all the time, but it's the truth. And I prayed, and God have answered prayers. I prayed that God would keep you. I prayed that God would direct you, and would give you what to say and how to say to you whenever we would talk when you were discouraged. And so Even with situations that happened recently, I always, told you, don't give up. Don't, God's got a plan. You can always see it, but I stuck with telling you that. And now you begin to see the plan that God has as it's unfolding. So I'm proud, sister, my proud, as you say, godly proud that you allow God to be that ruling force and didn't give up.
Okay, so now that you've brought prayer into the conversation and your belief in God and your ability to trust God through everything that was going on, even when I didn't want to listen, and when you thought I wasn't listening, but I actually was listening. But because we know I'm stubborn, I'm not going to tell you all the time that, okay, I hear you, or okay, that you're okay, you're right. Tell us how you feel now that I have been blessed with the opportunity to work side by side with you in ministry.
Okay, we should put these questions. Oh my God. It's an honor and a privilege, and it helps me to understand, even with my own girls, that if I continue to pray, that God answers prayers, and though they may be going something, through things with the loss of their dad, you were going through things too. And like you said, I thought you weren't listening. Mark and I want to come down there and knock you upside your head a few times,
Oh,
but we kept praying. And to see where you are now and that we work together in ministry is amazing. And so it's encouraging to know that when you don't give up, you may not see results right then and there, but if you keep praying, keep pressing, stay in the press, stay. You kept me on my knees like my kids, but it was well worth it. It was well worth to see what God it has done and what God is yet doing. Prayer works. Prayer truly works.
okay. So, with that being said, God bless you. With that being said, we grew up at a point where, of course, we grew up in the church. You stayed with the church. I left the church. And then clearly I came back. So, what would you say to a young set of siblings, a younger version of us that don't have the foundation of the church to fall back on because they either weren't taught how to trust God, they weren't taught how to, lean on God, they just weren't taught, or they chose to no longer believe. How would you explain to them how to be you?
That's not an easy question to answer, only because from what things that I was going through, God placed people in my life, and I cried out to God. The thing is that a lot of young people don't, if they haven't seen the life lived before them, or if they haven't heard it, or like you said, if they seen it and just chose not to walk in that, then it's I won't say it's hard, but they have to want something better for themselves. That'll be a burning on the inside, and you begin to cry out, and God knows who we are. He created us. So even if you don't know, God can bring people in your path that can help you, encourage you to trigger something in your heart and in your mind, saying, this sounds kind of good. Let me know more. And that will work. And for those that know and choose not to, when they bump their head long enough, and they know that they've been taught and they've been showed the right way, God don't leave us. He said He never leave us nor forsake us. We leave Him. But
Hmm.
when it gets hard enough, and we cry out to God, He's always right there. So all those that choose not to, all they have to do is say, Lord, I need you, and forgive me for what I've done. He's a just and forgiving God. His grace and mercy is sufficient. But again, for those who don't know, if there is a desire to that you're missing something, God knows. God knows. And again, He will put somebody there who will come, or a friend to invite you to Bible study, or something that you will hear that will trigger, let me look more into this. So God has a way of being able to grab our attention or put us in the right place at the right time with the right people in order to lead us down the path that he has, because he knows a plan. We don't. And this plan may be to bring somebody in your path that can help you, that you'll trust to open up to. You can't talk to any and everybody.
That's
But
true.
when you say, God, I need somebody to talk to, God will bring that person who the conversation will be right there with you and them. And God will give them what to say, how to say, when to say it. And he'll open your heart and mind to receive what's being said. So it can be done.
Okay. Mentally, how did you handle me in my younger days, the hell I was raising, all while having children of your own?
Sometimes having to put you on pause, meaning sometimes, and I know you would call and be like, well, I'm like, I can't deal with her today. And so I would pray because it'll always be something. So I had to get in the right frame of mind. And sometimes God will give us that mindset, no, let her to call and depend on me. Get out the way. And sometimes I'm like, dog, why do I feel this way? We don't always understand how or why things are done, but God knows. And sometimes He want to move us because He know I will move mountains for you and for your children. And sometimes He wants to be that person to move the mountain. So He'll move me out the way or anybody else, and let them know, hey, no, they gotta depend on me. If they cry out, I'm right here. I'm the source. I'm what they need. Like I said, he may give, I'll use you and I. He may give me what to give you and what and how to do it, but sometimes he needs you first to come to him, not come to me then to him. No, come to him first, and then he said he will supply what's needed. So even if it's me doing whatever, he needs you to know you can. I'm who you need to come to. I'm the one who you need to depend on. I may not be there all the time. There may be things going on in my family that I can't be, or I may not be able to talk or be able to discuss what you need or do what you need, but he has the sources. So I've had to bag up sometime and just let you fall, let you scream, let you cry, let you think that nobody was there. But then knowing that God was there the entire time, with him trying to get your attention.
And that's true. And it makes sense now that I've gotten older. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have to agree though.
I know.
But when I was going through, see y'all, she petty. It be your own people. So when I was going through, it was literally like, I don't believe she didn't answer my phone call.
Mm-hmm.
She knows she see me calling. I don't believe she cut me off and told me she didn't want to hear me right now. Right? So my feelings was hurt. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like the world just came crumbling down because you didn't want to hear what it was I had to say. So even though I understood that, yes, I can cry out to God and yes, I can talk to God, there was a season in my life where I felt like you got enough faith in God for me and you, so you might as well go to God after I tell you what it is I need God to do for me. Right? Because I wasn't on that level. I wasn't trying to hear what God had to say. But I knew that because you trusted in God, I had enough faith in your faith. Sound crazy, right?
But it's
But that's
according
what it
to
was.
your faith, not according to my faith. The word is according to your faith. I can go to God all day long, and ask God to intercede, but it's according to your faith. I can believe all day long that God's gonna heal you. You call me, sis, I need you to pray for me that God heals me. But you have to believe in your heart and mind that God is a healer. It's not on me. It's according to your faith. If you believe God can, He's a healer, He's a provider, He's a way out of no way, He's a way maker. You have to believe that. So it's not what I believed. It was according to your faith, and you had to get there. And if God had to move me out the way to force you to get there, then that's what had to happen according to your faith, not mine.
And I understand that wholeheartedly. And I do now, today, I appreciate that because I understand it and I have more respect for it. But those individuals that don't understand and don't care to have faith in the God that we serve, that feels like there's no reason for me to pray because God doesn't answer prayers, what would you say to them?
I would pretty much share with them my testimony of where God brought me from, because you can't force anybody to believe anything. All I can do is share how God has. It wasn't always easy. It always felt like sometimes the weight of the world was on my shoulders. It felt like nobody cared. It felt like I was going through this alone. I felt like I was being abused, all of that. But in my sharing, if God did it for me, he has no respect of person. What makes you any less than me that God would do this for? It goes back again to what you believe. All I can do is encourage, to trust. And I know sometimes, depending on the situation, it's kind of hard to trust. But if you trust me enough to come and talk to me, and I'm sharing with you where God brought me out of, where God brought me from, all I'm asking you to do is try it. Just a little bit. It says the faith the size of a mustard seed. And we know those are real little bitty seeds.
Right.
So if you just step out and say, okay, God, I'm trusting you. I don't know. I'm learning. Again, God will meet you where you are and help you get to where you have to go. But again, it goes back to your trusting in according to your faith. And I know it's easier said than done. But again, all I can do is share my life story and let them see where I've come from to where God has brought me to, and where God is yet leading me, and what I had to do to get there. It wasn't easy, the road, and nobody said that it would be, but it was well worth it. And I'm grateful for what I've experienced so that I could possibly be a light to some young lady to understand you don't need a man. You don't just trust God. You are beautiful inside and out. You need nobody to tell you these things. And sometimes that's where it starts.
That was good. You kind of smart. I done shared your smartness with the world. However,
However,
at the this has been amazing, but I have one more question for you. What would you say to young ladies who feel unloved by the people who they feel like or who they believe should love them?
don't depend on that. I've been through that, and I had to learn to love me. If don't nobody else love me, I know that God does, but I have to love me first. Love who you are. Trust who you are. You have to, again, know that you are a beautiful person inside out. You can't trust people to always understand or always want to support who you are. I have a young man that I speak to often. The parentals, as you call them. You know, tell them you ain't nothing. You want to amount to nothing. That's not true. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's what God says. But even if you're not there to understand that that's how God sees you, you have to first tell yourself, I am a good person. I don't care what you think. And don't let people dictate who you are. You have to know, I'm beautiful inside out. I'm good. I'm a good person. I am worthy of love. I am worth something. I am special. You don't have to depend on people. Never depend on people to validate who you are. Never. Encourage yourself. There's a song that says that. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. And that's what I had to do a lot of days. I cried through, I'm worth it. I'm not ugly. I'm beautiful. I had to tell myself that till it got in my spirit. And once it did, and I began to like and love who I am, I don't need anybody. You can say whatever you want to say. Okay, that's your opinion, but I know who I am. You got to find that confidence. And it's not easy. It isn't. But you have to maintain that because the enemy will come and use anybody, especially family. When there's a plan that God has for you, the enemy will come in and tear you down. And most of the time it's with family. But I had to learn and understand it's the spirit. It's not them. It's the spirit in them. And so I'm like, okay, sure, whatever you say, but watch me. Watch what I do. Watch where I go. You want to think that about me? Okay, thank you. And like I said, it wasn't easy to get to that point, but I'm grateful again. God will place people in your path to even help even with that. But it starts by loving who you are and not letting anybody dictate to you anything different. You are fearfully and wonderfully made because God said so. And even if you don't understand who God is or don't know who God is, trust yourself to know you're a good person and you're worth it. You're worthy.
Okay, that is an excellent spot for us to hang our hats. Y'all, listen. So if y'all want to know where I got that, I can do it and watch me attitude from, you heard it first, straight from her. Watch me, right? So listen, guys, I have enjoyed my big sister today in all her graciousness. I have enjoyed the fact that she decided to hang out with me. It was like pulling teeth, but she did. She
Whatever.
called me a tyrant, but that's okay. We
That's
love
the
her anyway.
truth.
So, listen, we have some awesome interviews coming up for you later. We have more guests that's going to sit and talk to you. And we are just excited to have everybody that has joined us this far. Listen, if you have something that you want to share, something that you want to talk about, this is a safe space for you to just tell us who you are, what you do, why you think the way you think, and the thoughts that you have that have put you in the position that you're in now. So reach out, send us an email, comment, send us a message. Just let us know that you want to share your story. And as always, welcome to another episode of The Sister, where I am the sister. And this is a safe space to just vent and get out whatever it is that you choose to get out. And just remember, everybody, we are just one body trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save everybody. See you later.